Okay, we are live streaming. I'm going to call the meeting to order. At this time, I'd like to remind council, municipal staff, and members of the public in attendance that this electronic public meeting is being live streamed to the public. A video recording of this meeting will be available to the public on the township's YouTube account. Physical attendance of the public at this meeting is restricted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. I'd like to thank the applicants for their patience and understanding of the need to organize this meeting through the use of technology. The municipality has made every effort to ensure all affected property owners were informed and are able to participate in this planning process. And Sue, could you read the note, please?
Yes, through the chair. One of the purposes of the Planning Act is to provide for planning processes that are open, accessible, timely, and efficient. Accordingly, all written submissions, documents, correspondence, emails, or other communications, including your name and address, form part of the public record and will be disclosed, made available by the municipality to such persons as the municipality sees fit, including anyone requesting such information. Accordingly, in providing such information, you shall be deemed to have consented to its use and disclosure as part of the planning process.
Okay, thank you. The purpose to hear persons' comments in regards to zoning bylaw amendment application made by the applicant. Application number 1, owners Ian Cameron McKenzie and Lisa Ann McKenzie. Applicant Ian McKenzie, file number MAC-2021-01. And I will turn it over to Silas.
Thank you, Mayor Love. Before we commence with the meeting, I need to amend the agenda. As probably everyone has seen, there has been a flurry of exchanges of emails that just happened either late Thursday afternoon or early this morning. So I have on item number 2.3, an email from Charles Cheeseman just minutes ago. It was observed that there wasn't a recommendation in his planning report, so that it will be introduced and read out once I get to that. The next amendment is item number 14.2, that is with the Franchetto Malo application. There's an email from the County of Renfrew Roads Department. And item 15.2 is an email from Mr. Battiston dated April the 1st. And then another item, 15.3, was an email from Mr. Franchetto dated April the 5th. So those are the only amendments to the agenda. And as I say, all of those late arriving emails will be addressed by me as we get to each item. So we'll just go back now to the application 1, which is item number.
Sorry, Silas. I just want to check. I also had something from a Nathan Kuyak.
That's the County of Renfrew planning report.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. Yeah. Sorry, I hadn't had a chance to glance at it, honestly, because it came so late. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't someone else we were missing. Okay, please proceed.
Very good. Item 2.2 of the agenda is the page 1 of the cover letter of the County of Renfrew, dated February the 26th, 2021, which explains the purpose of the amendment. Item number 2.3 is the County of Renfrew Planning Division Zoning Bylaw Amendment Report to Council, dated February the 26th, 2021. And this is where I will just read out loud the email that I just received from Charles Cheeseman regarding the missing recommendation, item number 15 of that report. And it just says, Mr. Lurbetsky, further to our telephone call this morning, I can advise you of the following points. Point 1, the property has a small amount of water frontage on Bark Lake. However, the majority of the property does not have water frontage and is approximately 600 meters from the property's access/water frontage on the lake. Point number 2, Bark Lake is identified in the County of Renfrew official plan as a near capacity lake. Section 2.2 bracket 23 bracket states that a secondary dwelling shall not be permitted at an at capacity lake or lakes near capacity. Recommendation that, subject to any additional concerns or information raised at the public meeting, the zoning bylaw amendment be passed. So just to elaborate, Mr. Cheeseman just didn't have enough time to compose a full detail explanation of the reason why we are calling this a bunkie rather than a secondary dwelling unit. That under our current zoning bylaw provisions, when you have lake frontage, you're allowed to have a bunkie. And in this case, it's a large tract of land, so it falls under that category. But under the county OP, you cannot have a secondary dwelling unit, as we are now permitted under provincial policy. So that is the reason why this has been put together the way it has. And it isn't a precedent-setting situation for the remainder of the municipality. It is strictly for this property, and each application is based on its own merits. So I'll just leave that with council, and I'll just move on with the remainder. Item number 3, the purpose and effect of the zoning bylaw amendment is to add a sleep cabin as an additional permitted use in the limited service residential exception 38 bracket LSR-E38 zone. The limited service, the LSR E38 zone would not include additional provisions to the sleep cabin, including the gross floor area is increased from 25 square meters to 66 square meters. Item 2, the maximum height is increased from 5 meters to 6.5 meters. And item number 3, cooking facilities are permitted. All other provisions of the zoning bylaw shall apply. Item number 4, report on the application and notice. 4.1, notice of complete application is attached and is dated March the 1st, 2021. Item 4.2, the notice of application and public meeting were sent out to all affected property owners within 120 meters, which is 400 feet, of the subject application, and to all public bodies as required on March the 3rd, 2021. 4.3, notice was posted on the subject property on March the 2nd, 2021. Item number 5, notice to public bodies, written responses and/or telephone messages. 5.1, email from the Ministry of Natural Resources and Forestry, dated March the 3rd, 2021. They have no comments. Item 5.2, email from Ontario Power Generation, dated March 18th, 2021. OPG has no comments or concerns. Moving on to item number 6, written comments. Email from Thomas A. Weiss, dated March the 8th, 2021, and responses thereto, dated March 8th, 2021. Item number 7, verbal report or general or telephone inquiries or attendances at the municipal office. I can't say there were none because we were exchanging a lot of emails and questions, so those were addressed as I mentioned earlier. And now I'll turn it over back to you, Mayor Love.
You're muted, Mayor Love.
I apologize. Let's start the day off great. We're going to do oral and written presentations by those in attendance. And I think I'll just go first to, I'm assuming Lisa and Ian,
Yes.
if you wanted to speak to your application. It's your
Yes.
option.
Oh, okay. No, we're just looking to obviously just provide additional dwelling just for our children. And they have medical, one of them has medical. So we're just, with this whole COVID thing that's come into play, we're just looking at exercising some options just to enjoy family and allow people to have their space and their own identity. And it's as simple as that. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. Are there any other oral or written presentations by those in attendance? Does anyone else want to speak to this application? Okay, if you do, you have to put your hand up. All right, I'm not, okay, just want to make sure. I'm not seeing any hands up. All right, then our next section is questions and discussion by council. Are there any questions or any comments by council?
None.
Okay, I'm not seeing any. The only thing I wanted to ask about is one of the stipulations that you haven't asked for any change to is that it's 2 rooms plus a bathroom. Now, is that going to meet your needs, 2 rooms plus a bathroom?
Oh, well, I have done a mock-up of what it is. There's 2 rooms and then an open kitchen, which is the living room, and then a mechanical room. So I guess that would be in a bathroom. So that would be, so that would, I guess in that sense, that would be 2 rooms divided and then a 3rd room, mechanical room and bath. So that's 5 rooms actually, if we're deeming it specifically like that, yes.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that's covered in the application
Oh,
because you wouldn't
right.
want to come, to
Yes.
proceed in this and find out that you were only allowed, 1 bedroom and a kitchen, open area and a bathroom. So
Right.
Silas, does it make sense that we would cover this within this then?
Yes, it's good to address it now because when it comes to if this gets approved by council, when it comes to the building permit stage, the building permit is issued based on the zoning amendment. So you wouldn't be able to come back to the building inspector and say, oh, I would like to add a 3rd bedroom. It is.
Oh, I see.
Yes, it is specific to what's being requested in the zoning amendment. So we need to kind of make it clear at this point that is your intent, and that will be what you would receive a building permit for, should it be granted.
Okay, so what I'm asking, Silas, is should we have part of this amendment be that it is going to be 3 rooms? Because they're allowed 2 rooms plus a bathroom, but it sounds like there are going to be 3 rooms plus a bathroom,
And a
correct?
mechanical room, and a small mechanical room.
Well, yeah, and a tiny room just to keep all the mechanicals separate.
I don't know if we need to count that as a room per se.
I would.
Oh, tricky questions.
No, I think it is probably looking at our dwelling unit definition, that would be covered under that.
Okay, so do we need to amend this application at this stage just to ensure there's 3 rooms that are acceptable as opposed to just 2? I want to make sure we're covered. Sue?
A question I had was, does it change the square meters, the gross floor area?
No, it does not.
No.
Okay.
In fact, it'll likely be a little bit less, but
I think that would be the concern that I would have.
My only concern is that when it comes to applying for a building permit, I don't want, the building inspector to see, oh, wait a minute, they're only allowed 2 rooms plus a bathroom and there are more rooms on this plan. I'm trying to make sure we're covering everything.
yes.
So is it worthwhile to amend this to ensure that all the rooms that you're requesting within that floor space can happen without any concern? That's all I'm asking. And Councillor Wilmer, I see your hand up.
Sorry, no, I think it should be. It would be wise to cover it right now so there are no problems later. I agree with you, Mayor Love. I think it should indicate the correct number of rooms at this stage.
Okay, so we're down to the question of whether a utility room is considered a room. Because you definitely have three living
Yes.
spaces that are rooms, and the bathroom's included, so that's not an issue.
Right.
But does the mechanical room count as a room? I don't know. I just don't want this to not work for you. If you're going through this process, I want to get it right.
Shouldn't we err on the safe side and perhaps include it as a 4th room? We're not changing the square footage or anything like
Yes.
that, so just covers it. It's probably easier to go down in number of rooms than up at the
Okay.
permit stage.
So would council be amenable to that sort of amendment? Oh wait, Silas, you were putting your hand up.
Yes, I would concur with Councillor Wilmer that for argument's sake, it just makes it a lot clearer and simpler for the building inspector down the road, or for anyone should the current owners decide to sell, and the new owner would know exactly what the amendment was for. And I think to simplify it, whether you're calling it 4 rooms, 5 rooms, all it would say are 2 bedrooms, a common living area, a bathroom, and a mechanical room. That covers what the intent of this building is.
Okay, so we will amend then, when we get to the bylaw, we'll have to amend it to include that.
Yes.
Okay, so you're good with that? Sorry, Ian and Lisa, you would be good with that? Want to make
Yes,
sure we're covered?
absolutely. Yes,
Any
thank you.
comments or discussion from council on that amendment, which we will have to add to the bylaw for this afternoon's meeting? Okay, I'm not seeing any concerns. Good, that would cover it then. That was my only question. Any other questions or discussion by council? Okay, I'm not seeing any. I'll turn it back over to Mr. Larbetsky.
Okay, thank you. Item number 10 is a draft copy of the bylaw. It's bylaw number 2021-27, which duly noted will be amended at the regular portion of the council meeting later this afternoon.
Okay, great. And that completes that one. So just so you are aware, this will come before council a little bit later today, and we'll make sure we amend the bylaw so that we've covered
Terrific.
that for you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. The purpose is to hear persons' comments in regards to zoning bylaw amendment application made by the applicant, application number 2. Owners Jackson E. Franchetto and Sarah Blakeney Mallow. Applicant Simon Kasperzak, file number FRA-2021-02. And I'll turn it back over to Silas to take us through it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 11.2 is page 1 of the cover letter from the County of Renfrew, dated March the 11th, 2021. Item 11.3 is the County of Renfrew Planning Division Zoning Bylaw Amendment Report to Council, dated March the 11th, 2021. Item number 12, the purpose and effect of the amendment is to add a retail store and an eating establishment as an additional permitted uses in the rural exception 35 RU-E35 zone. All other provisions of the zoning bylaw shall apply. Item number 13, report on application and notice. 13.1, notice of complete application dated March the 11th, 2021. Item 13.2, the notice of application and public meeting were sent out to all affected property owners within 120 meters or 400 feet of the subject application and to all public bodies as required on March the 12th, 2021. Item 13.3, notice was posted on the subject property on March the 12th, 2021. Item number 14, notice to public bodies, written responses and or telephone messages. 14.1, email from Ontario Power Generation dated March 15th, 2021. OPG has no comments or concerns. Item 14.2 is the email from Nathan Kuyak from the County of Renfrew Public Works Department. And let me just find that email. Because it wasn't part of the agenda package, I will take the liberty to read the content of the email. Good afternoon, Silas. This is in regards to a zoning bylaw amendment at 809 Rockingham Road to allow for a retail store and eating establishment. The County of Renfrew Public Works and Engineering Department has no objection to the approval of the amendment. However, as part of the detailed design of the building, we request to be circulated so that we may assess any potential impact to the County of Renfrew. I will just stop there because this is a commercial enterprise. A site plan agreement is required, so that would all form part and parcel of that, and the County of Renfrew Public Works Department would be giving input on the site plan agreement as well. There may also be a requirement to upgrade the entrance to a commercial configuration to enhance the safety for ingress and egress to the site. Thank you for allowing us to the opportunity to provide comments on this application. Regards, Nathan Kuyak, Infrastructure Technician. So that was the email from the County of Renfrew Roads Department. Item 15. Written comments. 15.1, email from Valerie On, Acting Clerk, Brudenell, Lyndoch, Raglan Township, response dated March 30th, 2021. Valerie On is filling in at the municipality there, and the reason they're getting involved is because this property butts up to that municipality and everyone within 400 feet needs notification, and she just needed clarification where the property was located in regards to their municipality. So there were no objections or comments coming out of that. Item number 15.2 is an email from, let me just see, Mr. Battiston. And it is has council had an opportunity to read the content of that email?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't think I really need to read it word for word, but I will just summarize it. The first paragraph is that in regards to the proposed zoning amendment, there is no objection. They're excited about the proposal. But then the next question goes on to the speed limit along that corridor of the county road. It, as I mentioned, it falls under the County of Brantford jurisdiction, not our Public Works Department. I believe there were some conversations well before this application came before council, where there has been requests possibly reducing the speed limit through the hamlet of Rockingham, which is not in our municipality, but the request has been to extend the reduction that would come into our municipality and would be in front of the subject property, which is the current application before council. So I will leave that with council for discussion as we progress. And then item 15.3 is a response email from Mr. Franchetto. And I will just read that one out loud because I think it just arrived this morning. So it says, hello to all. Thank you, August Edward, for your consideration. Let it be known to all that I and most local citizens of Rockingham are in full support of a lower speed limit and increased signage in regards to this stretch of road. We look forward to a positive action in this regard. And that's Jackson. Thank you. And then item number 16, verbal reports or general and or telephone inquiries or attendances at the municipal office. There were none. So I will turn it over to you, Mayor Love.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to do oral and written presentations by those in attendance. I notice Mr. Kasperzak, Simon, you're here. Did you want to speak to the application before I open it up to others?
I'm not sure anything further is required from me as far as comments on the application. I think it's fairly clear the way we've applied for it, but in summary, we are amending or applying to amend the zoning classification for the two pins that are owned by Mr. Franchetto and Mrs. Mallow in this location for the purposes of applying for the development of a retail store and eating establishment near the location shown on the sketch that was together with the application along Rockingham Road. And we look forward to the council's comments on this.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here who wanted to speak to this application? Any members of the public? Okay, I honestly have August Edward I can see, but I can't see the person. So say something. You'll have to unmute and say something if you do want to speak. Just want to make sure everyone gets a chance. Did you want to speak to it?
No, my comments were in the email, and I'm just curious again what council's response is, and if they would support that if that application came from Renfrew County to lower the speed limits.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure you had an opportunity to speak to the application in case that was also something that was of concern. All right, so if there's no further comments from the public on the application, then I'll open it up to questions and discussion by council. Councillor Peplinski.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. My question is, and I know that and we all are aware that it's the county's responsibility regarding the request to lower the speed limit. I'm just wondering if we could be of some help here, and if we supported that initiative by way of motion or whatever, if that would be proper to do at this time.
Okay, well, one of the things we can do is we can submit a request to the county. I believe the county reviews speed limits on county roads. Might be once a year, might be once every 2 years. I'm trying to recall exactly, but they do review them on a regular basis. So the municipality, if council so wished, could put forward a request that the speed limit be reduced in the Rockingham Hamlet area and extended to cover where this business is as well, if that was what council wished. Is this something that council would like to bring to the next operations, roads and waste management meeting?
Right.
With a little background from our staff, just to get some sense of the information that we've received from various members of the public, plus the information we are receiving with this application, and then we could have a discussion.
Totally
On-
agree.
Okay, on submitting that sort of a request to the county. As I say, it's done on a regular basis. I just honestly, off the top of my head, can't remember exactly whether it's annually or biannually that they review those requests from municipalities. Councillor Bromwich.
Thank you, through you, Chair. We just went through this exercise with Old Barry's Bay Road, and we lowered the speed limit right across the board to standardize it, all in the name of liability issues that have been passed down to us. And I think this would fit the bill too. I would support that with Renfrew County if they're looking at it, and standardize it so that it's right across the board. I think it's a good move. Thank you.
Okay, what council may wish to do is provide the county with two options. You could request it throughout the entire of Rockingham Road, but I would also have a fallback position where we were requesting it for a section of Rockingham
Yes.
Road. And that's purely because I would hate it to be an all or nothing scenario where it might be turned down. Councillor Wilmer.
I think that's why it's good, your suggestion to bring it back to the operations committee, if we could get a little more background so we could prepare a couple of options and present two reasonable ones to the county. I think that would be wise on our part, but certainly I do support exploring this and looking at it. Let's just get all the information and do it through the roads operation committee. That would be great. Thanks.
Okay, the other thing I'd suggest is that we contact our neighbor, Brunel, Lindock and Raglan, and see if there's any appetite there for a joint submission to the county, because that would also be of assistance if we could demonstrate that there was a concern across the two municipalities. Silas.
Thank you, Mayor Love. I just had a brief conversation with the operations manager prior to the meeting concerning this point, and there had been discussions with the former CAO clerk at Brunel Lindock, and the process that Hillary tells me is that because the majority of the hamlet is located within their municipality, that municipality has to initiate the application to the county of Renfrew, and because a part of that outer limit falls within our township. And I think he did mention that it would stop at Dovetail Road, which is just a little past the Franchetto Mallow property. So I think that Hillary can speak to, as Councillor Wilmer said, at the next roads department meeting. So just to give you a little insight that there was discussion, there has been something, but the acting clerk right now didn't respond to it, probably isn't even aware that there was an application for the reduction of the speed limit. So we'll just maybe leave that till the roads department meeting.
Okay, definitely. And we can see what we can do to move that forward at that point. It may require just some connecting with our adjacent municipality and some discussion directly with them as well. Okay, is there any discussion or questions on the application itself? Okay, I'm not seeing any. Silas, could you do the next piece, please?
Yes, item number 19 is the draft copy of the bylaw, and it is attached, and I don't know if there are any questions. It just relays what the intended use of the property is.
Okay, do we need a motion, or is site plan control an automatic feature of this particular?
It's an automatic.
Okay, so we don't have to ask for it.
That's right.
All right. Okay, and then since there don't appear to be any questions on the draft bylaw, I will turn it over to Sue to read the notification.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Council is also required by Section 34:14.5 to inform the public at the public meeting of who is entitled to appeal to the local appeal tribunal under Sections 34:11 and 19 as follows. Section 34:11 if council decides to refuse an application or refuses or neglects to make a decision on an application within 120 days of the municipal clerk receiving the application, the applicant or the Minister of Municipal Affairs may appeal to the local planning appeal tribunal by filing an appeal with the clerk of the municipality. Under section 3419, not later than 20 days after the giving of notice of passing of the bylaw, the applicant, any person or public body who made oral submissions at the public meeting or made a written submission to council before the bylaw was passed, or the Minister of Municipal Affairs may appeal to the local planning appeal tribunal by filing an appeal with the clerk of the municipality.
Okay, thank you. So to the applicants, just as well, note that the bylaw will be coming to council at our meeting that is going to be starting momentarily. So at some point in our agenda, we'll be looking at that bylaw as well. And with that, I'll just declare the meeting closed.